Dude, I love it. But it is an uncomfortable statement when he's like, we want to build a dynasty. I was like, oh my God. Like, that is great. I hope it happens. I don't feel confident, but I hope it does.
I like the fact that, Courtland Sutton is pretty much backing up what Drew Lock said earlier.
Yeah.
Which is counter to what John Elway said earlier in the week.
Right. Now,
right?
Did Courtland Sutton double down on what Locke said by saying dynasty?
I would say he did. He definitely doubled down. And there's nothing wrong with that, Cecil, because what that means to me is that is the type of mentality that I was used to in the locker room. See, it sounds foreign to a lot of people because they hadn't heard it in a while. And the expectations were said to be tempered at the latter part of last week, only for Drew Lock to stoke those fires and say, hey, man, I'm not tempering anything. If I'm doing anything, I'm going to pump up the volume. And then Courtland Sutton say, dude, that's my quarterback, man.
That's my quarterback.
That's my quarterback. And double down and say, yes, we're looking to be a dynasty. I mean, we would have been upset if Courtland Sutton would have said something other than that, because now he is the elder statesman in that room. They're going to follow his suit. So however he moves and however he walks, they're going to try to mimic what he's doing. So this is a great first step, right? And I love the fact that this offense that you and I talked about that now has to take the lead with this team, not the defense.
Not the defense.
Not the defense.
This is an offensive team.
This is an offensive team. And that tells me right there that Courtland Sutton has already bought into it.
Courtland wants to be here a long time. And I know that from talking to Courtland. But when you say the word dynasty, this isn't a guy thinking about getting his contract and leaving. This is a guy who, 1,000 yards done, Pro Bowl done. He was even asked by the Pro Bowl about the Pro Bowl. Might have been his first question, I believe.
It is what it is.
And he even said, I don't change my preparation to go to the Pro Bowl. I want to win games. So this is a guy that is just putting it out there, Nick. He wants to be here and he wants to make Denver great again.
You know what? It doesn't not only sound right.
Feels right.
It feels right. And it smells right.
Well, you're in there. I'm in here. It might smell different in here. I don't know. I did take a shower today, though.
It smells right because
it passes the sniff test?
It does. It definitely does.
Well, tell me about the sniff test. Why does Courtland Sutton pass the sniff test?
Because we're talking about a young guy who is now forced to assume that role as the leader, right? And it smells right. This is what we want all young players to say. We don't just want them to just kind of give us lip service and say the right things.
Preach.
I mean, when Courtland Sutton was in his first year and I was coaching in San Francisco, we knew going in, this is a young kid that we had to make sure that our DBs were prepared for. Yes, he's young. Yes, he's raw. He's still learning to run the route tree. But if you sleep on him, he's going to hurt you.
Bye-bye.
That's right. And then it was last season where he was still having trouble catching the ball at the beginning of training camp, but then he grew up. After Emmanuel Sanders was pushed out the door.
After him and he threw Gatorade bottles at each other.
And exchanged some words or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's when Courtland really stood up.
Did E get in his kitchen?
Yes, he did.
Did E get in his kitchen?
That's right.
And that wasn't a bad thing.
No, it wasn't.
Courtland is better because of that.
Abso-freaking-lutely. He's better for that because now he understood what it's going to take, right? Not just athleticism, but what it's going to take from an attitude standpoint.
Takes more.
To get this team to where he needs to, and also understanding all these young guys are in the room. They're looking up to you. You're not even in your 30s, Cecil, but they're looking to you for guidance and wisdom. And if you can't lead those guys, how does Jerry Jeudy ever reach his full potential? How does KJ Hamler ever reach his full potential? Because if you walk around and you run lazy routes, you drop the ball, they're going to think, well, that's how they do it in the pros. But Courtland is saying, no, I'm not about that business. I'm about a different life, and it's about dynasty. Most people are afraid of that word, Cecil, and the reason they are because it does one thing. It builds expectations.
The E word.
I said it. I said it.
Expectations.
Expectations.
Dude, and that's the highest expectation you could have. Other than saying I'm going to be a Hall of Fame player, but Courtland Sutton's not a selfish guy. Like, to say dynasty, to say the word dynasty, well, I love it. It also is a very scary word because you are setting the bar incredibly high. But not only do you mention how his approach affects and impacts Jerry Jeudy, how his approach affects and impacts KJ Hamler. You know who else it impacts?
Who?
The guy tossing him the rock.
Oh, yeah.
Drew Lock.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
If Lock is going to play up to his potential, it's going to be because and BBB because Courtland Sutton BBB balled out.
And you need guys with that mentality.
I thought you were going to go Chris Tucker there. And you know this, man.
I started to, but I didn't. I didn't.
It's fine.
But you need guys with that mentality because I've always said, if Demaryius Thomas ever had Dez Bryant's mentality, he'd been unstoppable. And if Drew Lock is to become the Drew Lock people think he's going to be, he needs those guys outside to be dogs, right? Everything you throw my way, I'm going to catch. They have to be like Willie Beeman, right? You got to get that juice, that invisible juice.
Right.
Right? So he needs all his wide receivers to think with that mentality. And just think about this, Cecil. If all of those guys from Courtland, Hamler, Jeudy, Gordon, Lindsey's already full of the right stuff, Noah Fant, Albert Okwuegbunam, if all of those guys think with that mentality, Cecil, it's not going to be nice, cuz. It's not going to be nice.
It's going to be unstoppable.
Yes.